Eddie Ugbomah for Nigerians by Nigerians. On August 3, 1904, a newsreel that had a glimpse of the Alake of Abeokuta during his visit to England was shown to the amazement of viewers at the Glover Memorial Hall, Lagos. When the king was shown, the audience responded with great applause, demonstrating the enjoyment the audience derived from early Nigerian cinema and their active engagement with the on-screen events. The first feature film created in Nigeria was Beloved, directed by British filmmaker Geoffrey Bakar in 1926. However, the first notable feature film made in Nigeria by a Nigerian filmmaker was Finchel, produced in 1958. Decades later, the 70s marked the dawn of a new era in Nigeria, a time when the power of storytelling took on a new form. As the country experienced profound economic, political, and cultural shifts, a new industry began to emerge: the Nigerian cinema. At the forefront of this movement was a man whose vision and passion would lay the foundation for what we know today as Nollywood, Eddie Ugbomah. In 1959, an 18-year-old Eddie Ugbomah joined hundreds of guests to watch the premiere of Ben-Hur, an American epic historical drama film at the Glover Memorial Hall in Lagos. At the event, Eddie's dexterity in filmmaking would be fanned by the statement made by the late American actor Charlton Heston, who expressed that it was a shame that Nigeria, in 1959, had no film industry. That challenged him to begin a professional career in filmmaking, culminating with the formation of Edifosa Film Enterprise, Eddie's film production outfit. The hunger for stories reflecting the Nigerian experience was growing, and a new breed of filmmakers was ready to rise to the challenge. After the country gained independence, the industry rapidly expanded by establishing new cinema houses. From the late 1960s into the 1970s, there was an increase in Nigerian content in theaters, especially as productions from theater practitioners such as Herbert Hugunde and Moses Olaya transitioned to the big screen. The hunger for stories reflecting the Nigerian experience was growing, and a new breed of filmmakers was ready to rise to the challenge. Eddie was determined to use film as a medium to tell authentic Nigerian stories. He wanted to address contemporary social and political issues while still entertaining his audience. In 1977, he produced Dr. Oyenusi, a film based on the notorious robber Ishola Oyenusi and his six-man team who terrorized Lagos in the early 1970s, with Ugbomah as the lead actor. The movie also highlighted the issue of armed robbery in Nigeria. His next film, The Mask, released in 1979, centered on the history of Nigeria during the 1897 Benin expedition and the looting of artifacts from the Benin Palace. In this film, the protagonist, Obi, played by Ugbomah, tries to secretly steal the Benin ivory mask and return it to Nigeria. Some critics compare the character of Obi to the M16 agent, James Bond. The film was a response to Britain's refusal to return the masks during Festive 1977, citing the ivories as too delicate to be returned to Nigeria. But his career flourished into the early 1980s, producing films like Oil Doom, Bolus 80, and The Boy is Good, most of which were shot in 16mm, except for The Mask. Later in his career, Ugbomah returned to Yoruba video films. Over the course of his career, Eddie Ugbomah produced and directed 13 celluloid films, an extraordinary achievement in an era when filmmaking resources were scarce. Each film was a testament to his dedication and his belief in the power of cinema to influence society. Eddie was a trailblazer. He didn't just make films, he made statements. His work was a reflection of the times, and it challenged us to rethink about who we were as a nation. Ugbomah's films were not just entertainment, they were a mirror to society.
I've been able to use my film to make a lot of good statements, and I've changed things. And that's what I'm after, to be able to identify themselves with what they call contemporary stories. I base my ceremony on contemporary events, and then where you can see through.
Addressing issues such as corruption, colonialism, and the quest for identity in a rapidly changing world. Through his lens, Nigeria's stories were brought to life in a way that had never been seen before. Pioneering the film industry from the ground up was no easy feat. Eddie Ugbomah faced numerous challenges, including financial constraints, a lack of infrastructure, and the uphill battle of convincing audience to support local films over foreign imports. Yet, despite these obstacles, Ugbomah persevered. Making films in Nigeria was like waging a war. Every day was a battle, but it was a battle worth fighting. His perseverance paid off as Ugbomah's films began to garner attention, both at home and abroad. He not only proved that Nigerian stories were worth telling, but also that they could stand alongside the best in the world. Eddie Ugbomah's impact on the Nigerian film industry cannot be overstated. He laid the groundwork for what would eventually become Nollywood, the world's second largest film industry. His work inspired a new generation of filmmakers who took up the mantle and continued to build on the foundation he established. Without Eddie Ugbomah, there would be no Nollywood. He showed us what was possible and opened doors for the rest of us to walk through. Today, Nollywood is a global phenomenon, but its roots can be traced back to the work of pioneers like Eddie Ugbomah, who dared to dream of a Nigerian film industry that could hold its own on the world stage. This is the story of Eddie Ugbomah, the birth of the Nigerian film industry.